Hi, Dr. Marlena. Welcome on board.
Thank you so much for having me. It's greatly appreciated.
You know something?
What's
If you
that?
have to come to this particular show, which is called Ignition with Dr. Farookh Sensei, you should be recommended by somebody. And if you're getting this recommendation, that means somebody is there who loves you and who likes to be connected with you. How do you feel when somebody says that we want to hear from Dr. Marlena?
Oh, it does. My heart does somersault. I end every conversation with "Have an amazing day," and I do three somersaults at the end because that's
Uh-huh.
how I feel when I connect with people. And so
Wow.
to hear that, it's everything. It's what my whole life is about: touching someone else's heart and leaving an
Absolutely.
impression.
Absolutely. Because this is one question, Dr. Marlena, I ask everybody, and this is how I start up, or this is how I kick up, is
Okay.
that today who you are an expert in HR, you are one of the corporate directors when it comes to human resources, but that's not the Marlena many years back. You had to go through the tough time. There was one time where you were on a life support for many hours, many weeks, and then hospitalized for around about 6 months. That is a story. This is a story of survival where most of the people, they give up, and today you are in a high peak and you keep on traveling and you do programs, you motivate people, you inspire people. And just behind the camera, you said that you were just in some other program and you are here for this interview. Take us through that story of pain. Let's start with the pain before we get into the pleasure part of it.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just life support, it was actually dying on the operating table because my heart stopped and I
Mm-hmm.
had to be resuscitated on that operating table.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a good life. I grew up during a time when we had manicured lawns and Friday night fish fries, and,
Mm-hmm.
boys and football. I had all that. But as I started to climb the corporate ladder, started
Mm-hmm.
having children, the American dream, I just didn't feel fulfilled. And there was something, a void. There was
Mm-hmm.
always, but then at the same time, I felt kind of ashamed and bad because I had a great life. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of felt selfish because I wasn't counting my blessings. So me being a fixer, me being HR, I
Mm-hmm.
decided I would make a change. And what I did is I opted for surgery to change my body image because I thought that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I had another baby. I'd have someone that loved me and accept me.
Mm-hmm.
But the doctor said you have to lose 75 to 100 pounds. So my quick fix was that gastric bypass where I wound up on that operating table. And
Mm-hmm.
you're right, 11 weeks of my life gone. My life almost gone. But the beauty of that was a day for me. Because when I woke up, she says, where are the nurse says, where are you? Who are you? And I thought it was the next day, but it was 11 weeks and 2 days later. But I knew God had kept me here for a reason, for a purpose that was greater and bigger than Marlena at the time. And so I just went on a 14-year journey because it's been 14 years now. I know I look really good for 14 years old because
Mm-hmm.
I actually woke up from the life support, but the type of coma on the 17th of my surgery was June 29th, and I woke up on September 17th. And it was I'm going to make every day, not just every day, every breath, every second, every minute,
Mm-hmm.
every hour. I'm not going to take it for granted. And I just felt that I was left here not for me. I was
Mm-hmm.
left here for me to make sure no one else was stuck where like I was. And
Mm-hmm.
I've just been on a journey, and I've been pushing and pulling people along with me to
Mm-hmm.
make sure they change their mindset because it all starts in our mind.
Yeah.
And then it goes, so mind, body, and spirit,
Yep.
make sure that it's all in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, you have to tap back into where it started, because it started for me really at before birth,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in the womb. And as part of my ministry, because I'm also an ordained minister, and I've been studying and timelines and how these work in our lives and the mental health and mindset. It starts way back when we're in the womb. So when individual moms, for example, if an individual's mom was had a difficult pregnancy and say went through hours and hours of trying for this individual to be birthed, and now the individual doesn't like loud sounds or bright lights, that was an imprint that was put on their spirit way back when they were coming out through the womb at that time. And we don't know that these things happen to us in the early days, form us for decisions and choices that we make now. And part of what I do with, I like to call it my ministry, because I want it to be more than just my work. I want it to be my mission. And it is a mission to go out and touch the hearts of those that are stuck or just not past the heartbreak. You know, they say that God gives us, as women, our superpowers that we're women. Well, I like to say my superpower is a little bit further. If I could move them, individual, just past the heartbreak, just a little bit, to where, yes, they've gone through the situation, but now they can use that as their testimony as they go forward, just like I'm doing. They can use that break, that near death or that death experience to go now and dig deep inside, clear up these things from the past, or at least understand them better, and then move into their prosperity. And whatever prosperity is for me, prosperity for me is that my family is whole, my children are healthy, that I'm able to keep a roof over their head. That's prosperity for me. And it is whatever for the other, individuals that I work with. But that's what I'm doing. And that's why I believe I went through my situation and my ordeal.
Wow, that's so powerful, because yesterday we had a guest again from the US. She was from the UK, and she was talking about, again, female, and she was calling female to be the powerhouse. And you are talking exactly there about the power in a female.
Yes.
Wow.
And sometimes I get feedback and say, well, you're trying to empower the female to be strong and independent, and true. But I'm not trying to do that so she's just that. I want it to be more. I want her to put on her mask first, like they say in the plane. If the plane's going down, the oxygen pops out, put on your mask first. Then put on the mask of others around you. Because once we are whole, because we are so powerful, we can help others. And then when we come to join together with our spouses, our significant others, our children, when we're whole, we're able to help them get through wherever they are in life, whatever they're going through. So I don't want women to just be independent, just be for the sake of being independent. I want us to be whole, so our interactions and our relationships are so much better.
So you've come across a lot of guests, a lot of whether you call the guests or your clients or your customers. What type of gap do you see in them, most of them?
Well, right now we're going through this generational gap, and the main thing is communication. We're not communicating very well. Even in the corporate workplace, we have 5 generations now working, from our baby boomers all the way down to our generation Z. And no one's really communicating. And I find that when I do work in the homes with individuals, that's where it starts. We're feeling a certain way, but we're not expressing it. And then outside of the home, we're not sharing, because we don't want people to know we have these masks on. And we kind of refuse to take the mask off. So we're suffering in silence, thinking that our issue is really big, which it is to us, to each individual, it's really big, but thinking it's unique, but it's really. And so that's what I'm finding. So in the corporate workplace, employee relations is my favorite thing. And they said, well, why is employee relations your favorite thing, Dr. Marlena? Because when the case gets to me for final decision, managers have gone through the steps, the progressive discipline, and the case gets to me, most people have only looked at the symptoms And I've been afforded the opportunity with my ministry, my personality, my talents to actually dig in deeper and figure out the root cause. Because, you know, it's very costly to the organization for a new hire.
Yeah.
So before I just, you know, I think my mom used to say, throw the baby out with the bathwater. I want to get a little deeper and find out what's going on. And so this pattern started developing. And for those of us who are doctors, you know, with research, that's what we look for. We look for the pattern.
Yeah.
So that's what I started doing over the last 14 years. Let's dig into the root cause of what's going on. And many times I find out my clients or, well, I have to say my employees on the job. My employees, they're working 2 jobs. Some are working 3 jobs. You know, they have issues going on at home, communication, where they're not having good communications with us as an employer to let us know what they're experiencing. And then in my ministry, through my church, I'm finding the same thing. There's the root cause. It's not being addressed. We're just slapping a Band-Aid on what the symptoms are. So I've been afforded this, you know, the luxury of getting my doctoral degree in management and my special organizational development and change.
Wow.
And I get to act as discoveress. And as a discoveress, I know and I believe everything you need, you already have.
Yeah.
And I get the pleasure of working with you to unfold that. And
Absolutely.
for you to get your breakthroughs and see that you have everything, it just needs to be organized. It just needs to follow a process.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So if I say that you are a process person, what do you think about it?
Absolutely. I believe that going from that adversity to that prosperity, is a process.
Yeah.
And it's proven if you can lay out the steps. And now the thing is, you have to be open-minded. You have to keep your goals in mind, but you have to be very flexible on how you get there, because things will change.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to see that what's changing, is it something that I control? If not, then I'm not going to waste time on that. I'm going to forgive, I'm going to forget, I'm going to do what I need to do to stay on my process.
Absolutely. Now, there are a lot of, Dr. Marlena, there are a lot of senior executives and CEOs from different parts of the world. They're going to watch this video. So what is one advice that you would be giving to a senior level executive? What is one advice you would be giving to them when it comes to managing or leading the employee or the team? What would be your advice from your HR perspective?
Don't write the employee off. Take time to listen to what is really going on. I know my employees, I have 15 employees that report directly to me. I can tell you exactly when that employee, something in that employee's life has changed. For example, employees always on time. All of a sudden, a misstep.
A change in the pattern, you mean to say?
Pattern changes, but you have to be having the conversations with them. And I'm not saying long, drawn-out conversations about their personal life, but you have to get, how about this? Let down, take off your mask and get to know your employees. So when you can see when the pattern changes and address it. I have a prime example. There's a warehouse in Mexico, and during that certain time of year, the attendance really, really dropped. And we had to figure out, well, what's happening? Well, the kids were at home sick, so the parent had to stay home with the child. Well, it turned during that time, their shelter wasn't very sturdy, and it was cold, and the kids would get sick because they didn't have good blankets or coats and whatever. So that was the root cause. That was really the problem. But if we didn't ask questions, we wouldn't have known. And we would just say, and we were quick to say people are lazy or they don't want to work. But and many times that is true, but many, many times it is not. They're dealing with life. And you know, life will beat you up. And if you don't say something, back to communication again, if you
Yep.
don't say something, it can have you pretty much losing out. And so as it's for my leadership team, and have conversations, ask, and I believe in asking 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And tell the employee, I'm going to ask you, it's your free will to share with me.
Mm-hmm.
And if what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be kept on a need-to-know basis, because if it's something, again, harmful to them or someone else, we have a duty to report that. I feel I have a moral duty to report that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something you want me to know, please share it. I'm here to try and make sure we have an opportunity to address, because I value you as a person.
Yeah.
That's number 2, valuing our employees as
Mm-hmm.
individuals.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We have to see the person, see the heart.
Yeah.
And the numbers will come. The production numbers will come. If the person is recognized, we all know that money is not the number one thing that people want. They want to be recognized for their accomplishments. A simple thank you means the world to many.
Wow, that's one of the reasons most of the people or most of the employees they leave and quit the company. It's not because of the money, but because of the person they report to.
Oh, absolutely. We say that every day to our leadership team.
Yeah.
They don't quit on the company, they quit on the manager. I have to be honest. I have been placed in that situation myself, to where I didn't feel that my skills, my work ethic was being valued. But I had a manager that, upper level manager, that said, "Hey, we need you, we value you," and it made me reassess how I was feeling about who I was addressing and working with at the time. And we were able to make changes. So I know if they say 1, that means there's 10. If there's 10, there's 100, and so on and so on.
Exactly. Dr. Marlena, now you are inking down everything. You're coming up with your new book. Yes. What is the book all about?
The book is called Rediscovering Your Identity, the Power of Possibility to Reinvent the Inevitable. And it's back to that whole premise that we're born with everything we need to have. It's a book about my journey, but it's written in a manner where you can see your journey as well. And actually, it's a workbook also, because I'm going to ask you, or I actually ask you in there to take certain steps, and to be able to reflect. You have to journal. You have to appreciate. You have to set your intentions daily and walk in that. Take off those masks that hold us back, that we hide behind. Now, sometimes it's okay to have a mask, but the problem is you can't get stuck behind the mask. It should be just a temporary fix. If we lose a loved one, yes, we're going to wear that mask of I'm all right when we're really, really hurting. But then we have to do and take steps not to stay in that place. Wow. So that's what the book is about, getting you to look at what you already have and how to use it and develop it and take steps to grow from where you are.
Wow. So you said that it is not only a book, it's going to be a workbook. So it can be used anywhere in the world. You can also conduct programs and trainings and seminars using that as a reference. Is it correct?
That's the goal. Absolutely. So I believe in train the trainer. That we're really big on that in corporate. And all of this that I'm doing is I'm taking what I know, what I've spent 30 years doing. 15 of those last years have been in management and as a director, and taking that and now applying it to the individual. So it was good for corporate, and I've worked for some of the very, very large companies. I'm talking 10,000, 15,000 employee companies, where I've sat and had a direct effect on policy and management. And so I'm taking those lessons and that experience and bringing it to the individual. And I am going to train the trainer so we can train, and grow.
Wow. Are you planning to do anything online? Because these days, there are a lot of organizations, they do online training programs and they have virtual training programs. And you got different platforms where you can even sell or place your programs like Udemy, and there are other platforms as well. Do you have any such plans?
Absolutely. So the workbook part of the book will start off with journaling, and I'm going
Mhm.
to take that and develop it into a webinar
Okay.
where they go and they, if you get off pace, you get back. The thing is, falling down is not the problem. The problem is staying down.
Oh, yeah.
So, to go and tap back in. Maybe, for me, it's been, I say, a 14-year journey. I've been in the ministry all my life. Uh, but there's been times where I kind of flatlined on
Mhm.
something,
Yeah.
and I have to go back and read that again or understand. And it's like, oh, okay, I got another blessing and a revelation out of this. And
Hmm.
then, oh, I didn't see this at all, but now my mind is open to it, and I
Hmm.
see it in a different, fresh perspective. So that's what the online courses will be. It will be an opportunity to start the process,
Yeah.
get off track, start over, go back, keep going. Maybe you get all the way through and you
Yeah.
need a refresher. I mean, I read some of the greats, Canfield and Proctor and Heal. I've read those books. But there's
Hmm.
times I picked them up, just was reading one of Tony's books here, and I went and over, and I was like, oh, I missed that the first time,
Hmm.
so something new I can apply because I didn't have the eyes to see when I read it,
Yeah,
the very
exactly. So when can the world expect that book?
um, first quarter of 2019. So
Hmm.
almost there. We are just about done. We just had our final read through.
Yeah. Okay.
We finally nailed our cover down, and I'm really excited. Really, really excited. I'm on to book is really almost in the can, if you will, and I'm on to documentary.
Wow. Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Marlena.